Hello, and welcome to this brief tutorial on using PERSI, the Periodical Source Index for Genealogy. I am Sunny Morton, a contributing editor at Family Tree Magazine, a curriculum contributor at Family Tree University, and the author of hundreds of genealogy how-to resources. PERSI is your portal to a lesser-known but invaluable genealogical resource, and this is hundreds of thousands of articles published over the decades in the newsletters, journals, and other periodicals of thousands of genealogical and historical societies. PERSI, the Periodical Source Index, is a subject index to all of those articles. Indexers at the Allen County Public Library in Fort Wayne, Indiana, where the index is created, extract essential information from each of these articles in each issue they process. The essentials they extract include both the publication information and then the subject and location data that you need to identify a particular article as relevant to your research. For example, in this article on the Sacred Heart Orphanage and the Franciscan Sisters in Pueblo, Colorado, the title would be extracted, the author, the publication information, and then other data like the place and a subject of church records and institutions, and then other keywords that would help identify this article for researchers. PERSI is ongoing and growing. It now has over 2.5 million entries from thousands of historical, genealogical, and ethnic publications. It's a subject index, and these are the subjects that they are paying attention to. These are the subjects that they're indexing, and that helps you to get a sense of the kind of material you'll often find in these periodicals. One of the things that I look for most frequently via PERSI are printed indexes, which we used to have before we had online indexes. Societies would print up printed versions of the names that they extracted from their local records. And these are records that themselves maybe weren't in print, but they would put out lists of the names that were in these records so that people could find them. All different kinds of records, cemetery records, naturalization records, obituary records, all kinds of school and tax and church and court and land records, anything that might be there locally that the society knows about that wants to make you available of it. For example, the Reed Creek Baptist Church Minute Book was printed up in an issue of the Savannah River Valley Genealogical Society several years ago, and on a recent trip I found this, and through PERSI I found this at the Allen County Public Library because they printed up this index, and I was able to find members of this church dating clear back to August 1867, and that was a really happy moment for me. So I love PERSI. So it's not just these index kinds of articles that you can find with the typed up lists. Of course, those are really important, but you can also often find great local history articles that are written in periodicals that are indexed by PERSI. So maybe it would be a history of a particular institution or business or school or neighborhood, anything like that that might affect your ancestors. Also, sometimes your ancestors migrated to places that you're not aware of, and so you might end up finding information on them in what we call orphan content, meaning that it ends up in a newsletter in a place far from where you expect it to be, but only because your ancestor or that particular institution or business or whatever also had an affiliation with that locale. So it's a great place to find information about your wandering ancestors, and also to find sometimes brief biographical sketches or short family histories, all kinds of things that are available in PERSI. My easiest way of finding PERSI, I'm a subscriber at findmypast.com, where PERSI is held. That's the official online resource for finding and searching PERSI. But anyone can search PERSI, so you don't have to be a member at Find My Past. Just create your own free guest login. But when I just want to go search PERSI, I can log into Find My Past, or I can just Google search PERSI, Find My Past, and click on the very first search result, which will take me right into that database. And let me show you what that looks like. So here's what's come up. Here's what it looks like when you start to search PERSI. if I'm searching here, then I often skip, since I often don't know the name of a periodical I'm looking for. Sometimes I do, and I can use that. There's all kinds of helpful things here, but when I'm just starting a basic search in Percy, I'll often just go down to the state, and I'll enter the state, and then that as one of my search terms. And then I'll often just go down to the optional keywords and I'll enter, and because the town or the city or the county I'm looking for may not have been indexed in the same way, I'll often in my very first search just put the place in as a keyword, and then the same if I'm also looking for a specific kind of record. For example, if I'm looking for an orphanage in Pueblo, Colorado, and it gives me real-time updates here. As you can see, it's already giving me 6 results that I would find in Percy. And when I go to view those results, you're going to see that, as a matter of fact, I'm going to minimize this a little bit so you can see the whole thing. There you go. As a matter of fact, now I can do some more more search variants here if I want to, but I have found the article that I just showed you a few minutes ago, Sacred Heart Orphanage and Franciscan Sisters. Now I can click on there. They don't have the digitized version of this article. They do have the digitized version of a growing number of articles, but not this particular one. So this gives me the information that I need: the volume, the page number, the year, the name of the publication, and all the information I need to find that article, to track it down. Even if I'm going to be researching at the Allen County Public Library, I even have the call number there, because the Allen County Public Library is the master creator of this index. They also have the holdings of all the articles you need. And that is really relevant because as you come down here and learn more about Percy, you're going to want to scroll down further. How do I get copies of the articles? And it gives you information on how to order these through the Allen County Public Library with this download an article request form. So this is how you're going to follow up and get copies of the articles that are not available to you online, either because you're not a subscriber and you can't view it, or because they don't have the digitized version of it. Okay. I have a couple of more tips for you. And the first is that because Percy is a subject index and not like a full text index for searching that entire article, wouldn't that be awesome? Maybe in the future. And the search interface is kind of limited. So it feels kind of clunky and cumbersome. To me, it almost feels like using a magic 8-ball. I don't know if you remember these from the 70s and the 80s, where you'd have to ask a question and shake the magic 8-ball and see what answer it gave you. So the key to using the magic 8-ball and the key to using Percy, I have found, is asking the right question so that you can get the answers you're looking for. So often when I'm working on a new ancestor and I want to see what I might find in Percy, I'll go and brainstorm all different kinds of keywords that might apply to that ancestor: the locale, the institutions, the businesses, neighborhoods, the ethnicity, anything I can think of about a particular person, and then run those searches through Percy. But then I definitely follow through, and I think that's the most important thing. You never really know if this article is going to help you unless you order a copy of it. So you can download that article request form and fill it out. You can put up to 6 articles in a single request, and even with the photocopying fees, it only comes out to a couple bucks per article if you wait until you have 6 of them and send them in. So another tip that I use is that I actually research at the Allen County Public Library every couple of years, and sometimes I'll just save up my requests for the next time I'm there if they're not urgent. The other thing is I can use Percy in a really interesting way. If I know I'm going to be at a major research library that's going to have a lot of these periodicals, I will sometimes just use the Percy search filters to search for the name of the society newsletter that might be of interest to my ancestors' locale. And then when I'm at a major research library like Allen County Public Library, I'll just go ahead and pull all the issues of that particular newsletter and I'll browse the issues, because I may not have thought of something in my brainstorming sessions that in fact is in that newsletter, and I won't find it unless I really go through each page. Thank you for watching. I hope you've enjoyed these tips on using Percy for genealogy. I'm Sunny Morton with Family Tree Magazine.